Does Nvidia crush? Does a bear shit in the woods? They crushed again. $6.12 EPS versus $5.58 expected. $26 billion in revenue versus $24.6 billion expected. So they also announced a 10-for-1 stock split. Remember, everyone, 10-for-1 stock split does not make the company cheaper. It makes the nominal price less, which allows people to feel warm and fuzzy when they get an extra zero added to their shares. But it doesn't change the valuation of the company. Nvidia is either the greatest company in the world or the biggest fraud in the world, according to Mo.
Yep.
Of course, I don't think it's a fraud. Guys, I mean, they just make chips and people just buy them. They just put whatever price on there and people just buy them. Let's see how they're doing after hours right now. Nvidia, they are up 4%, up $40 after hours. Wow, they're actually down today. That's impressive. So the question is there still room to go on this stock? I don't know. I could have seen a situation in which they beat on earnings and revenue and still fell because the expectations were already exhausted. Clearly they were not. So we might have more room to run on this Nvidia and this AI. Ready for the next word? Bubble. Yes, I know. It's scandalous. Guys, if you're new to our account, this is Everything Money 24/7. We react 4 or 5 times a week to earnings, economic news, business news, stock news, market news, everything. Markets were down today, Mo. Did you see that?
Yes.
Do you remember why?
Fed.
Our buddy Jerome Powell, what did he say today?
We might raise interest rates still.
What he said was there are people basically who are saying, governors, I assume, on the Fed, who are saying that they're not against raising rates. Now remember, 5 or 6 months ago, it was a shoo-in for lower rates right now from where we are versus back then. They talked about 6 or 7 rate cuts for the year. We're now at the same rate. We have Nvidia still crushing it, almost 5% now after hours. This thing's going to hit $1,000 a share potentially. And the 10-for-1 stock split will take a zero off of that and make it much more affordable for people who don't understand value to sit there and buy more shares and feel richer. It's no difference. And that's really important for our followers and the people. You, as watching this channel, you're somebody who likes to learn. Don't be a lemming. Don't fall for what everybody believes, which is just because a company has a lower price, it makes it less expensive. Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares are $625,000 a share, and their market cap is $900 billion. Nvidia, as you saw, is at $1,000 a share. Its market cap is 2.36. Call it 2.5 now. $1 trillion, 3 times the value, with the price being $1,000 versus $625,000 for Berkshire Hathaway. This is what we mean. So Mo, you pulling up the annual report, or the quarterly report. Yep. Go through some of the things they're talking about here.
Some of these numbers. So quarterly revenue, $26 billion, up 18% from the fourth quarter.
From the fourth quarter, not even year over year.
Not year over year. Listen to the year over year number, 262%.
Oh, geez. This company.
Record quarterly data center revenue, $22.6 billion, up 23% from the fourth quarter, 427% from a year ago. 10-to-1 stock split is coming June 7th. Quarterly cash dividend raised 150% to 1 cent a share on a post-split basis.
Well, that's funny. Look at that. Because look at their current dividend. 0.02%. I paid $300. I mean, what is this dividend? Yeah. Are you for real right now? It's not a waste of time. God, Nvidia is crushing it.
Got some forward guidance.
Okay, what was the forward guidance?
So forward guidance here for the second quarter of fiscal 25, okay? Revenue expected $28 billion plus or minus 2%. Earnings, let's see.
This is for the next quarter.
This is for the next quarter, not for the year.
And let's go compare that to their the quarter. That'd be the quarter ending July, right? They did $13.5 billion in the same quarter last year. So it'd be over double what they did last year. Over double, Mo. You said $28 billion? $28 billion. Versus 13.5 they did last year. Over double. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. This company is absolutely crushing it. The question is, are the other chip makers going to get on the bandwagon, start looking at this massive opportunity for major gross margin? Are they doing anything about gross margin?
Let's see here.
Because, guys, it's not like there are no other chip makers out there. NVIDIA is clearly the leader right now, but other chip makers can come enter it. And that's what I'm sitting there saying. It's the same thing as Tesla. We said years ago at Tesla. These other car companies can make electric vehicles. And now all of a sudden you see, even though Tesla's the number one, other car companies have chipped into it. Again, I'm not trying to take a dump on NVIDIA. NVIDIA has absolutely crushed it. I'm happy for them. For every single person who saw this happening, AKA no one, more power to you. If you happen to buy NVIDIA because you liked the company years ago at $20 a share, good for you for sticking with it, because I'm sure it was hard, ups and downs in the market. Mo, what are you seeing?
So GAAP gross margin, 78.4%. Non-GAAP, 78.9%. And
Mo,
going forward, they're looking at GAAP and non-GAAP, I'm going to say this respectively, 74.8 and 75.5. Plus or minus 50 basis points in either direction.
Back in October of 2021, this gross margin was essentially, what is that, 65%? Guys, you understand how hard it is to go from 65% gross margin to 78%? That's a 20% increase from 60. That's 13% higher. That is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
This is incredible for them. That is a very admirable thing what this company has done. This company has absolutely crushed it on pretty much every metric you can possibly imagine. And the story is such a wonderful story. He started the company in like 1994. He struggled. He said in an interview recently, I love it, the CEO, I would not recommend anybody become an entrepreneur. He's like, it was not worth it. And this is the guy who's worth $80 billion right now.
Didn't he say I wouldn't do it again?
He would say I would not do it again. Yeah, and Tim just said, wow. I mean, that's an incredible statement to make from a guy who's one of the richest people in the world to say, I would not do it again.
Mm-hmm. It's wild.
NVIDIA is doing a great job.
It's up less than 2% at this point.
Oh, wow.
I was right.
Okay. Story, numbers. They got to work together though, guys. This is what we try to teach on this channel. What I'm trying to teach, what Mo's trying to teach is a process. And this process can be applied to any sort of investment you make. It's about every investment being the present value of all future cash flow. What does this price mean relative to the future cash flows of the business? If I told you right now that I was going to give you $10 a year for the rest of your life, would you pay me $1 million for that cash flow? No, of course not. Would you pay me $1 for that cash flow? Absolutely. Would you pay me $10? Absolutely. The point is, between $10 and $1 million, there's a good price to pay that factors all the risk. Am I going to die? Am I going to go defunct? Are you going to die prematurely? All these things that can happen. That's what investing is. It's harder though, because we don't know what that future holds.
Correct.
Mo, anybody out there, can you find anybody who 5 years ago would have said this about NVIDIA? There's going to be an artificial intelligence boom. They're going to create these chips. These chips are going to be $50, $100, $150,000, and people are going to buy them in droves.
I wouldn't even said this 2.5 years ago.
You wouldn't have said it a year and a half ago, probably.
Correct.
So I look at this saying, if you bought NVIDIA because it was a market leader and you wanted to buy the market leader, I give you credit for this. Because even though you didn't see AI, what you should have seen, what you probably did see was, I don't care what it is, this company does a good job. And that's what your job is for finding companies. Now, if NVIDIA was some crap company who happened to be just be lucky and got bailed out at the very last second because of an AI chip, get no credit. But if you bought NVIDIA years ago because you said, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but this is a great company, more power to you. That is awesome. Because NVIDIA, when I was a computer nerd in high school back in the late 90s, we knew NVIDIA, and it was only a 5-year-old company, and we knew NVIDIA made great products. And guess who was the genius who bought it? Not me, right? You know what I mean? It's just like, this is absurd. Now, does that mean this company is going to be crushing it forever, guys? We all have learned in the last 2, 3, 4 years, electric vehicles, cannabis, AI now, even seeing how many electric vehicle companies have gone kaput.
Yeah. Or the big guys that weren't EV companies that came out with it and said, yeah, we're going to tone it back now. Nothing
lasts forever. The booms don't last forever. We've had AI for a long time. I think it's so funny to me that people are now using AI. Like, we use AI to figure out this code. I'm like, but doesn't code just do that? Like, people are just inserting the word AI to say anything. This AI, I was talking to a company recently about preventative health. And the guy said, yeah, we use AI. I'm like, how do you use AI? Well, we do imaging. Well, how is that AI? You're just taking an image of my internal body. That's not AI.
It wasn't called AI 2 years ago.
No, when you guys were around 2 years ago, you didn't call it AI imaging. Yeah. I can't take a picture of a camera, of Mo, and say this is AI. It's not AI. That's what they were telling me. Yeah. Why? Because they just want to say two things. AI. So I'm just trying to exert some caution here and say, listen, AI is going to change the future, just like the internet did. But how many internet companies went bankrupt? How many internet companies went to zero? NVIDIA is not going to zero. No. You know how I know this? Here's how I know this. Unless it's fraud. Here's how I know this. $2.37 trillion market cap, 2.36 enterprise value.
Yep.
There's no debt in the company if you factor in their cash. Now, when I say they're not going bankrupt, they're probably not going bankrupt, apart from we all of a sudden find out they're faking all the cash in their accounts and all these things. It's very difficult to go bankrupt when you have no debt, essentially. Very difficult. This company is absolutely crushing it. Now, let's see what the pillars say about this company. So, very minor shares outstanding. This is their flaw. If I were them, I would issue 10 trillion shares. Yep. I'm being facetious. Go issue shares, guys. Give your investors some money because everybody else is high as a kite. 5-year PE, 230. 5-year price of free cash flow, 247. But the 1-year price of free cash flow is 87. The 1-year PE is 80. It's probably going to be lower after today because of how well they did on the report. Now, remember this 5-year PE and 5-year price of free cash flow, that didn't include the AI boom. So you can't really look at this number. I'd focus more on the 1 term. But is this a sustainable revenue level for Nvidia? That's the question. That's the question.
Don't know. I
don't know either. The concern I have is I was recently in Florida back in February, and a very wealthy person I knew was there bragging about Nvidia. And I said to him, and he said, I don't even know what Nvidia does. And I'm like, but you have it? He's like, yes. I'm like, you own a company, you don't even know what they do? Then he quickly backtracked. No. My guys manage that. He's like, and this was when it was at 750. He's like, they say it's going to double sometime this year and for even further. I'm like, seems too easy.
I got one better.
Yeah.
Some guy I know, he bought it 5 years ago just because people were talking about Nvidia. He just bought it. It's at where it's at today. And he's like, I have no clue what this company does. I don't even know how to pronounce a name.
Yeah, I love when people say Nvidia. It's not Nvidia. Mikey says Nvidia.
NVDA.
Yeah, I want to punch him when he says Nvidia.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mikey, stop with this. So let's see what analyst estimates, the garbage analyst estimates that exist right now. I mean, it's tripling. According to analysts, they're tripling their profit here in the next 4 or 5 years. But guys, they're still selling for 30 times 2029's profit. Could happen. They could generate more than this. Question is, if markets are rational, then everybody should be buying the stock saying it's going to go forever. I'm going to go on a limb here, guys. You ready? Just like I said about Tesla back at $400 a share, I said Tesla will be a company that 10 or 15 years from now still will not be higher than this price. I'm going to say that Nvidia 10 years from now will not be higher than this price today. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
and if I'm wrong, more power. But it just feels bubblish.
Yes, it does.
It just feels bubblish. Does that mean they can't crush on revenue and profit? No, of course they can.
They are. So
they are
why
crushing.
Can't they keep it going?
Man, 60 billion, 158 billion in the next 3 or 4 years. So what is the right price to pay for Nvidia? Let's pull up the last time I did Nvidia in April 16th. Guys, I need you to do me a favor. If you like this, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in using our tools to become a better investor, but more importantly, our community, to have like-minded people you can have conversations about Nvidia with, click the link below, check out the community. Our insight, we call it our inner circle because this is the people, the thousands of investors who sit there who are like-minded, who talk about these things. And there are a lot of Nvidia lovers in there. More power to them. Mo, I did 10, 20, and 30% revenue growth.
Okay.
For the next 10 years.
Okay.
Profit margin, I did 20, 35, and 50.
Wow. Okay.
I should take that 20 down to, no, I should do this. I should do 30, 40, and 50. 30, 40, 50. Same with free cash flow.
Okay.
Which is still aggressive as hell. PE, I did 20, 25, and 30. Same with price of free cash flow.
Big numbers.
Big numbers and a return of 9%. So this is what I think Nvidia should be worth based on if you wanted to match the market. But remember, if you're here because you want to beat the market, right? Beating the market is about finding great companies, but buying them when they're not appreciated, when the market doesn't like them. That takes stomach. The 9% right here, why would you buy this company for a 9% return? The market does 9 to 10%.
Right.
You should want a higher return. So this has no margin of safety in there. I'm at the analyze button. 973 right now. We have a low price of 230, high price of 2,400, middle price of 785. I made those absurd assumptions and still can't justify today's price. Take that for what you want. Every investment's the present value of all future cash flow. We'll see you later.